Do you have dry, tight, maybe flaky facial skin? Does your skin soak up moisturizers and other products so rapidly that it's like you've never put it on? If so, you probably have been convinced that you have a dry skin type. Or could it actually be that you have dehydrated skin? So what is dehydrated skin versus dry skin type? So first, let's discuss exactly what a skin type is. So I made some videos before in the past, just recently actually, about each skin type and what skincare routine would help balance out each skin type. A skin type is how your skin produces oil, how much or how little, and how it's distributed throughout your skin that your skin produces naturally. So for someone with dry skin type, what makes it dry as a skin type is that it doesn't create oil. While the other skin types do create oil, sometimes all over, which would be oily skin type. Other times it's just in certain spots and how much it's producing. That would be considered maybe combination skin type. But for dry skin type, that skin type in particular does not create any kind of oil at all. Now, I did mention in the dry skin type video what are some of the conditions of what makes dry skin type and what will happen if you happen to have dry skin type. So in this case, this video is mainly over a dehydrated condition. What this means is that there's not a lot or much water left in the skin. Any skin type, including dry skin type, can have dehydrated skin. Someone with dry skin type will definitely be prone to always dryness, and so their goal is to balance out the skin well enough so that it won't be a problem later on as they go on their daily lives. But with other people, they can also have dehydrated skin too. I've also made another video that was really amazing about an experiment that I made, proved how oil helps keep water in the skin. So that's a good video to watch, and I highly recommend that you watch that for more better understanding about what dehydrated skin is versus even dry skin type. So that's the difference mainly between what dry skin type is and what dry condition skin is. So this oil that your skin creates is called an acid mantle, and that is slightly acidic in order to help protect and ward off pathogens or anything that can harm us, but it also secludes the skin to keep moisture in. However, it is not foolproof. So what happens is we get dehydrated skin. It's called transepidermal water loss, and TWEL for short. What this does is it means that the water deep within the skin has literally evaporated out from the skin. And again, this can happen to any skin type. And it's most prominent mainly with obviously dry skin type, since they don't have the oil to help keep it locked in, but also it tends to happen often to people with oily skin type. So how does transepidermal water loss happen? One of the most common ways that create water from evaporating from the skin is the abuse. A lot of times we don't realize that we're abusing our skin, but in many cases we're abusing it many times due to a lot of marketing and trying to solve problems with the skin with skincare products. Some of this abuse is just over-exfoliating. So when you over-exfoliate the skin, what happens, it takes away that oil barrier quite often and makes a lot of little holes into it where the water can escape from, especially using things like scrubs in particular. While I do not like scrubs, and I don't think anyone needs to actually use scrubs, those tend to be the most damaging because most of the time they scratch, nick, and tear the skin, which also causes that dehydration from the skin. You're like making little holes in your skin that are helping to protect your skin, and yet every time you do that, not only are you damaging the skin, but it's also allowing that water to evaporate from the skin. This is very, very common with people who have oily skin, since they always feel dirty and they're trying to reduce that oil so much in their skin that all they're doing is they're just scraping and scratching their skin and just tearing it all up, and also making all that water evaporate from their skin. Also, another way that a lot of people have been exfoliating are those rotary brushes. Sometimes people overuse those way too much, and they might even use those with scrubs, which is completely detrimental and will cause problems. And usually when you over-exfoliate as well, you'll also notice that in many cases your skin will start to break out. The other way of abuse is also using harsh soaps and astringents, where they just use maybe the harsh soaps to kind of get rid of any breakouts they might have. or any other issues that they might see that they're trying to just kind of reduce some of that oil. Clay masks are another one. So what clay masks do a lot of times is especially if you overuse them. And clay masks, what happen is while you put them on and let them dry, they're great to reduce oil. They're actually something I use to help reduce oil before adding hydration to the skin. And what happens though with clay masks in particular is that it will also suck out water along with the oil a little bit. So those are some masks that can be overused and not used properly that can cause the water to evaporate from your skin. This also includes peeling masks. The only people that I think should only ever be using peel masks are people with oily skin. Many times it's because they might have some congestion in their skin. Peel masks also, I feel, kind of help like dry out the skin a little bit, since the mask itself dries on the skin and then you go to peel it off. It's a great way to kind of exfoliate, but I just feel like it's so drying. I just don't really care to use things like peel masks to help exfoliate or even really decongest the skin that often. Sunburns are another issue. So if you have currently had a sunburn, or if you've had some sunburns even in the past in your life, you're literally cooking your skin when it gets burned. What happens when you even cook meat or even vegetables or anything to make for yourself, you're gonna notice that the water evaporates out of that. You are literally allowing your skin to evaporate that water just simply by getting a sunburn. I know there are a lot of people out there too that sometimes just don't want to go buy more skincare products or anything like that. So they think, oh, I'll just wash my face with my shampoo. So when using products that are not made primarily for the skin, you're going to see some problems there too. It will dehydrate the skin, especially if you're using things like dish soap. And I mention this because I know that people with oily skin type tend to sometimes use dish soap because it degreases really well, but you're just making matters far worse. Another way of abuse is actually using DIY products. They're not really products, it's just something that I guess we'll just call it. So in case you don't know, DIY products or DIYs are using things from the kitchen. So maybe using like mashing avocado, or using sugar scrubs, or just combining a lot of ingredients, you know, lemon juice and all those kinds of things, or apple cider vinegar. I know these are very common things that people have been told on the internet that it's great for your skin and what it does. They're not. They have the wrong pH level. Many times some of these things are extremely acidic for your skin, which is really bad for your skin if you leave it on way too long. They're not made primarily for the skin. It's made as food to eat. And your skin doesn't have a stomach like your body does when you eat it and ingest it. That's when the chemical reactions happen and can be used throughout your body for good health. But when you're putting it directly on the skin, you are doing damage because you don't really know the chemistry of what's going on with your skin and with the food that you're putting on your skin. Other times it can just be simply neglect. It's not always the abuse. Maybe you're just not doing the proper things you should be doing. And in some cases, that's things like not using a moisturizer. So besides the abuse and neglect, it could also be other factors that are basically maybe possibly out of your control. For example, certain seasons of the year. So basically fall and winter tend to be the most drying skin seasons for people, and that's usually where they have the most problems, where they'll notice they have dry skin, not just on their face, but on their body as well. This is where you'll have to take on a little extra care to your skin so that it doesn't dehydrate and dry out. Other cases, it could be your climate. So it's dry climate versus humid climate. If you happen to live in a more drier climate area, this is also going to be another issue for you for dry skin dehydration. It could also be your job or your lifestyle. So for example, if you're like a cook or a baker, you're around a lot of hot ovens, so that also creates water to evaporate out of your skin. As you know, when you cook or when you bake things, the water that's naturally in the products or the batter that you put in, it eventually dries up and dries out, and it's primarily doing that to your skin as well. Maybe you have a job where you're outside in the sun a lot. One of the few other ways that your skin could be also easily dehydrating is that you're not eating foods that have proper nutrition in them, or you're eating foods that specifically deplete the skin of its nutrition and hydration. So things like eating a lot of sugar, or drinking things like alcohol or coffee or sodas or things, those things can dehydrate the skin a bit as well. Water itself can actually dehydrate the skin, which is why it's really, really important for you to add some vitamins and minerals to it so that it doesn't deplete your body of those vitamins and minerals that are helping keeping in the water in your skin. So that also goes to play that maybe you're not having enough vitamins or minerals that help keep that water in your skin. So some of those vitamins are vitamin A, B vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin D, zinc, and even the omegas. The omega fatty acids are primarily really, really good at keeping water locked in the skin. I take many vitamins every day, and so maybe I'll make a quick video over that, over what vitamins I eat and take every day in order to keep my skin healthy and also my body healthy as well. Other things could be like certain medications may have a side effect of dehydrating your skin. And then there's always the other case of stress. So now that we've talked about what can cause the dehydration from your skin, we're now going to talk about a little bit on how to actually hydrate the skin. You can control the situation of your skin if you are proactive and you know what you're doing. So here is how you hydrate your skin. And if you've watched any of my other videos, I am very big on hydrating the skin because it is a big thing for everyone to do. Most people's skin is dehydrated. So I'm always promoting hydration, hydration, hydration for the skin. And a lot of people on the internet don't really understand or know how to hydrate their skin. So I really know how to hydrate your skin. I've been able to keep my skin very well hydrated, especially in these dry climates and dry seasons. And I know exactly like how to do it very, very well. The other thing too is when you do hydrate your skin really well, your skin responds differently. It looks different. It looks healthier. It just glows. It does so much. So it's really important if you really focus on how to hydrate your skin really, 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 really well. So I do have a video that I've already made and I will put it up here for you to watch. So I would highly recommend that you watch that video because it will go more into depth, because I'm only going to briefly talk about it right here for now. The best way and the fastest way to do it is to properly exfoliate and to use basically gel or like sheet masks. Those are going to be your only ways to really hydrate your skin. Using moisturizers and hydrating serums will help to kind of build up on that hydration, but those are not ultimately going to be the things that hydrate your skin so much as properly exfoliating your skin and using things like gel masks or sheet masks. And I do have a video as well as the products I like to use for the exfoliation and the gel or sheet masks. I have one in particular on that I use. I use that almost every single day, like 4 to 5 times a week. I use those hydrating masks all the time. They have been such a lifesaver and they're actually pretty good cost effective. So another thing to look into products is certain specific ingredients. And some of those hydrating ingredients are aloe vera, honey, seaweed extracts, green tea, hydrolyzed collagen, seaweed extracts, and lipids. As I mentioned, I do have some videos over how to properly hydrate your skin. I also will put a link in the description below of a skin type quiz for you to take so that you understand more about your skin type. Most people do get their skin types wrong. So helping you to understand more about your skin type, I will put that quiz down for you to understand more about. And you will also get a free PDF that will show you how to have the correct regimen for your skin and how to take care of your skin to help balance it out. Thank you again so much for joining me here at Contour Image. I really appreciate it. And just remember to stay beautiful for life.